You come into this world as a whisper in the white silence of the Arctic. The den that holds you is nothing more than a hollow in a snowdrift, dug deep by a mother who has not eaten for months. The world outside is endless ice and wind, but in here there is warmth, the muffled thump of her heart, and the smell of milk. You are a polar bear, born with a coat so thin that the cold would crush you if you ever left this burrow now. Blind, deaf, no bigger than a guinea pig. Your entire existence depends on the giant breathing beside you. The first thing you learn, without knowing that you are learning, is to crawl toward warmth and food. You latch onto a nipple and drink. Above your den, there are foxes, wolves, and even male polar bears that would tear you apart if given a chance. The Arctic has no mercy for the small and weak, and yet here you are, a new life in a frozen world that barely notices you exist. Time in the den is measured in hunger and sleep. You grow quickly, doubling your weight in just a few weeks. A feat powered by milk that contains more than 30% fat. Slowly, tufts of thick white fur grow over your body, a blanket nature designed as your armor. Your eyes open, light filters in, and you realize that the world is much bigger than the warm patch of fur that is your mother. Soon you begin to explore. You tumble clumsily over your sibling, bite their ear, and squeal when they bite back. Your legs tremble with every step, but the urge to move is irresistible. Your sense of smell awakens, an extraordinary gift. Polar bears can detect the scent of a seal through a meter of compacted snow from more than a kilometer away. For now, your nose only recognizes the familiar scent of milk and fur. Your mother is your teacher. She nudges you, urges you to crawl toward the faint light that spills from the tunnel leading outside. The first time you stick your head into the open air, it stings. Cold so sharp it feels alive rushes over you. The horizon is nothing but white and gray, yet every sound is amplified. You hear the groan of shifting ice, the flap of a raven's wings, the distant roar of the wind. Lessons begin gently. She lets you clamber onto her back, slide down her side, or follow her paw prints. What she is really teaching you is endurance. The frozen land offers little room for error. Starvation, the most constant predator, lurks everywhere. Even at this age, you learn to recognize danger in motion, the shadow of a gull, the smell of something strange. By the time spring thaws a thin film of snow on the sea ice, you can run clumsily without falling every other step. You still have a long way to go before you can be called a hunter. But every wobbly stride is a declaration that you intend to survive. Your first taste of real meat comes after the long trek from the safety of the den to the edge of the frozen sea. By now you are months old, and the landscape has changed. The sun is bright, the wind milder, and the sea ice is studded with holes where seals come up to breathe. Your mother knows this and has brought you here for a reason. She crouches low, her huge paws spread out so she does not break through the thin ice. You crouch behind her, your heart pounding in rhythm with hers. This is the first time you see what patience means in a polar bear's life. Hours pass. Nothing happens. Then a faint sound, like a sigh, comes from one of the holes. Your mother becomes still, a white statue against the white world. When the seal emerges, it happens in a flash. A strike of her paw, a roar, a burst of spray, and the hunt is over. You watch with wide eyes as she drags the struggling animal out of the hole. Your stomach aches with hunger, but a part of you is frightened by the smell of blood and the violence of it all. She tears the skin with teeth made for this purpose. The first pieces she offers you are rich with blubber. It tastes strange and powerful, oily and salty, but you eat because every instinct in your small body tells you that you must. This meal is more than a feast. It is a revelation. The fat gives you energy that warms you from the inside out. Your digestive system, simple but efficient, begins breaking down the fat, proteins, and micronutrients. A polar bear's metabolism is a furnace, designed to extract every possible calorie from such rich food. That blubber will become your muscles, your bones, and the very fuel that lets you wander the ice for miles without rest. By the time you finish, the seal is nothing more than a few scraps. Your face is smeared with red, but the fear you felt at the start is replaced by a strange pride. You have eaten your first kill, even if you did none of the work. The hunger is quiet for now, and for a brief moment, the world feels kind. With each passing season, your body changes in ways that surprise you. The round softness of your cub days gives way to strength. Your paws, once clumsy and soft, grow wide and thick, pads covered with tiny bumps that grip the ice like sandpaper. The fur on those paws acts as insulation and also as stealth. No sound escapes when you step on snow. You shed your baby coat, revealing a denser layer beneath. It traps air close to your skin, forming insulation so efficient that your body heat barely escapes. Even when the temperature outside sinks far below freezing, under your skin, a thick blanket of fat begins to grow, a layer that can be up to 10 centimeters thick by adulthood. This is your armor against starvation as much as against the cold. Your teeth change too. The small milk teeth you once used to nibble at blubber fall out, and adult teeth come in, sharp and strong. You are now equipped to tear, slice, and crush. These changes hurt a little, and you chew on anything you can find: a chunk of ice, a frozen stick, even your sibling's ear. Hunting practice becomes serious. Your mother lets you follow her to the edge of the sea ice where she stalks ringed seals. You learn the strategy of stillness, of breathing silently, of waiting for the exact moment when the seal comes up for air. The more you grow, the more you notice that the world is not only beautiful, but dangerous. You smell wolves now and then. You catch sight of a giant male polar bear in the distance, and your mother positions herself between him and you. Even as a growing cub, you are prey if he is hungry enough. By the time your second year approaches, you are nearly as tall as your mother's shoulder. You are faster, stronger, hungrier, and restless. The snow no longer feels endless, feels like an invitation. Then comes the season when everything seems to vanish. The ice begins to break apart earlier than your mother expected. The seals, once plentiful, slip into open water and disappear. She searches tirelessly, walking for days without food. You follow, but the miles stretch endlessly. Hunger creeps in like a shadow. Your belly shrinks. Your muscles ache. You feel tired after a few steps. The body of a polar bear knows how to cope with this. Your metabolism slows, and your body begins to use up the fat you stored during better days. Even so, you grow weaker. For a time, it feels as if you might simply lie down on the ice and not get up again. One day, after a long swim across a channel of frigid water, you almost do. You haul yourself onto an ice floe, shivering, barely able to lift your head. The cold seeps in through your wet fur. You close your eyes, and then your nose twitches. Scent. Faint but unmistakable. Your mother's head lifts, and she leads you with sudden energy. Over the next ridge lies the lifeline, a seal carcass left behind by another predator. You stumble toward it and eat as if the world is ending. The taste of meat and fat revives you, trickling strength into your legs and arms. The crisis does not end in triumph. It ends in survival. You make it through because instinct keeps you moving, even when every part of your body screams to stop. You are 3 years old when your mother finally leaves you. She simply walks away one spring morning. There is no goodbye, no ceremony. You watch her white form disappear over the ice. You are alone now. Independence is both frightening and thrilling. You are larger now, nearly 3 meters long and weighing more than 400 kilograms. Your fur glows with a yellowish tint from months of sun and seal oil. Underneath that fur is raw strength. You can swim for hours, run faster than any human, and your sense of smell is so sharp that you can detect a seal from a mile away. Adulthood brings new challenges. Other polar bears no longer see you as a cub. When you cross paths with another young male, the encounter is tense. You both stand on your hind legs, teeth bared, growling, swiping at the air. Sometimes the fights are real, with blood drawn and fur ripped. You learn quickly that the ice is not big enough for everyone. Territory is everything, and food is the reason for every conflict. You also begin to notice females. The scent of one can make your heart beat faster than the fiercest chase. When you approach, you must be careful. A female will judge you first by your size and strength. She does not approve. She will chase you off with a swipe that leaves you limping. Spring is the season of competition. The strongest males shadow the females, fighting off rivals. You join the crowd, clumsy in your first attempts. Most of the time, you are driven away by an older, larger bear. Yet the instinct is there, deep and unshakable. the pull of something beyond hunger. Life on the ice no longer feels endless. It feels purposeful. Yeah, every seal you catch, every mile you swim, every rival you challenge is part of the journey of becoming not just a survivor, but a force strong enough to continue the story you were born into. It is late spring, the time when the ice is fractured into floating slabs and the sun never sets. Your body tells you what to do long before your mind understands it. You begin to search, not for seals this time, but for a scent that is different, richer, carrying a promise you have never chased before. After weeks of wandering, you find her. She is larger than you expected. Her fur golden in the slanting light, her eyes watchful. The first approach is slow. You walk in wide arcs, keeping your head low. She tests your presence with a growl, and you answer by standing tall, showing her your strength. There are others nearby, and for several days, you are forced to fight for the right to stay. These fights are brutal, but short. Teeth snap, claws rake, and your muscles ache. But when it ends, you remain. Winning her trust takes patience. You follow her, sniffing the air when she rests, staying close enough to protect, far enough not to intrude. When she finally accepts you, the tension vanishes. For a brief time, life becomes simple again. You play like cubs, chase each other across the ice, roll in the snow, and then mate. Fulfilling an ancient rhythm that has nothing to do with thought and everything to do with the continuation of your kind. After mating, you part ways. She will carry the fertilized eggs in a dormant state inside her body for months, delaying development until autumn. Then, in a snow-covered den, she will give birth to cubs as tiny and helpless as you once were. You never see them. Your role ends here, and hers begins. The cycle continues, as it always has. Years pass. You grow heavier, your shoulders broader, your movements slower but more certain. You have survived storms, hunger, rival males, and miles of shifting ice. On a quiet day in late summer, you stand alone on a floe drifting in a pale gray sea. The sun is low, painting the ice with a thin gold. You lift your head, sniffing the air for seals, but the wind brings no scent. For a moment, there is nothing to do but breathe. In the distance, a young polar bear is walking the same uncertain steps you once took. You watch him stumble and fall, then stand again. He is thin, still learning the map of this world written in scent and instinct. You do not go to him, but a strange recognition stirs in you. The journey he has begun is the same one that has shaped you. The Arctic will keep testing you both. There will be years when the ice is too thin, when the seals stay away, when the hunger claws at your ribs. There will also be moments of abundance, when the prey is easy and the sun warms your fur. This is the life of a polar bear. And you carry it with a mix of stubborn strength and quiet resilience. As night finally comes to the endless day, the sky blooms with green and violet lights. You curl up, tucking your nose into the thick fur of your forearm. Your breath slows. Somewhere, the female you once mated with may be in her den, nursing cubs that carry your story inside them. You sleep knowing that life here is a circle drawn on ice. One day the ice will break beneath you, but tonight it holds. For now, you rest, strong, alone, and exactly where you belong.